What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Michigan Great Outdoors. I'm your host, Jason Ostrowski, aka the Polack. Today I have for you the Novix Raider Hybrid. So this is a tree stand hybrid mobile hunting system unveiled from Novix in 2024. And it was kind of strange because they were kind of making those, t-shirts that said, saddles are for horses and, just advocating the tree stand game. And then they kind of, I think they went through some ownership changes. So the weavers that own them, when the Novix Hilo came out and the Novix Echo tree stands came out, I think there was a new owner in that period. So they got into the saddle game. They came out with this Raider Hybrid. They had the platform, the actual Raider platform. So again, very interesting that they moved into the saddle realm. So I've actually had this stand for a while. I think when it was unveiled in 2024, it was on sale for maybe like 300 bucks, maybe even a little less. So I scooped one up. I think with shipping and everything, it was like 300, maybe 320. Now this thing has actually gone up in price. It's like 340. And then if you buy it from Novix, you're looking at $20 for shipping. So you're looking at 360 to have this shipped to your home. I did find it recently on Midway USA for 300. And they had free shipping. So if you're interested in buying this, I would 100% look for a deal. Maybe look for one used on the marketplace. So I've actually mounted it to the tree here. You can see I have both cam straps. I did do a slight tow hook on it. I probably don't recommend doing it. And that's because this plate material here, it doesn't really slide very well when you do the tow hook. So you don't necessarily need to do tow hook. And honestly, I don't even know if this stand's rated for that. So if it was me, I would either check with Novix or I probably wouldn't do a tow hook. Now I'm right around 233 pounds now, so I'm a lot lighter than normal. So I felt comfortable doing a minor tow hook. I did that tow hook before I put this strap on. You never want to tow hook anything with the bottom strap on. You will snap your stand, you will break it and void your warranty. So I did is I got it set with the top strap, I tow hooked it, and then I did bring this up a little bit, tightened this down, and then locked it back in. So my impressions after the hang, this bracket here, that's that legendary Lone Wolf, the original antler bracket, the batwing bracket that everybody loves. It works phenomenally well. This is a red oak. It bit into this tree exceptionally well. It's very rock solid. One of the things I kind of noticed right off the bat, so you have leveling capability, just like a saddle platform. You want to be able to level that pitch out. The problem here is the slots on the side have about a ½ inch gap in between each one. So as you can see right now, I've actually kind of have it pitched up because if I pitch it, if I go to the next spot on here, it actually, and one thing I will notice too, I don't know if you heard that, it's extremely hard to adjust. I don't know if it's because of this frost coating, but it's extremely difficult to get that thing to go up and down. But as I go to the next one down, you can see now it's got a very drastic pitch on the bottom. So those, slots that you level in my opinion, they're gapped too far, so you don't have really the ability to dial it in. I like to have my platform either pretty much level or maybe just a hair down. This is a little bit more than I would like, so if I hop on here, I mean, it's pretty angled, pretty down, more so that I would really like. So I think that's kind of a flawed design a little bit. If you look at a normal saddle platform, usually it has some sort of a bolt or something that you're going to screw in, and you can get basically leveling to the millimeter. I mean, you can adjust it to whatever you want. You're not going to get there on this one, and I think that's something that I would definitely think about, because maybe you don't care, but I need to have that platform set just right. If not, it's going to make your hunt, could make your hunt very miserable. The more that you're having to fidget around, the more you're moving. I just really don't like that feature on this stand. I think it's cool that it's kind of like a tree stand, but it just doesn't have the ability to really dial it in, and that bothers me. So I'm going to go ahead and move this. Yeah, it's just like, man, this slot is just, it's like the bolts don't, it's like they need a longer bolt because it doesn't get loose enough. And I've heard people complain about that on the newer Novix Hilos, that this slot, this channel is just so stiff or it's really hard to adjust. And this is the first time I've experienced it. So I moved it back up. A couple of things that I really do like, and we'll talk about the cables. Obviously that's very interesting, different design, but being that it's all aluminum tube, it's pretty quiet. I was pretty surprised. Now there's this grating that goes through the middle here. It's all welded at all the intersecting points, so you can see that everything is welded, and it looks, when you look at it from the top, the construction looks really nice. Same thing with the seat. All the welds are nice and clean. When you do kind of look under it, you can see that it looks kind of crappy. Does that really matter? I don't know. I mean, you're not really going to see it. I'm more concerned with how it functions. Is it safe? I think it is, but it just does, it doesn't look as clean as it could on the undersides. But as far as like the top goes, it looks good. It has this frost coating. It's pretty aggressive. I mean, it feels like sandpaper, which is, I think, a pretty good feature, especially when you're hunting. You know, your boots get slick, you get mud on them, especially if you're swamp hunting, you're hunting in icy conditions. I like to have some sort of either traction built in, or you have some sort of a coating, some sort of a grip. I'm assuming these little two nubs out here are something to do with just being able to push off or something. You know, when you're saddle hunting, when you're moving around the tree, some way to maybe put your feet in there. I'm not 100% sure, and I've never heard on any podcasts or videos or anything what these two little nubs are really for. So it does have a nice, generous seat. It is a little bit longer than wide. I think that's by design. That way you can easily, like you said, you can sit forward on the tree here very easily. Just hop on here, and if you put your, you know, your bridge on and your saddle, I'm almost sitting in my saddle right now. There's not a whole lot of weight even on my seat, so it's very comfortable this way. I think if I was hunting, this is the way I'd do it. I'd have my bow right here, bag down here, something, camera arm I can manipulate. That's pretty legit. You know, trying to sit in it the other way is a little bit, I mean, it works, but you do have to let out some slack. And then when you sit on it this way, it just doesn't feel as comfortable. The seat does have a leveling bolt down here, so it's very similar to a lot of the other tree stands on the market. So you can really dial it into the millimeter using this bolt here, whatever you want. If you want pitched down, pitched up, that is more adjustable than this section here. So they did a good job on that. As far as the actual like seat pad goes, this has got to be like the cheapest foam that I've ever felt in my life that you get from a tree stand. It's loud. It just feels like the cheapest crap that they could buy. It does have a nice little Novix, you know, cutout in there, so it looks cool. And I suppose it really doesn't need to be anything fancy. I just wish it wasn't loud like this. Like when your pants brushing up against that, I don't like that at all. So the thing that's really different about this stand, obviously, is the cables going down the middle. So these two middle rungs, this is what it attached to. I mean, I don't love this design. I don't think anybody asked for something like this, and I do give them kudos for, you know, kind of coming up with something new and trying to change things. But to me, these seem to get in the way quite a bit. Now you can, if you're an experienced tree stand user, if you know how to use your saddle good, you can work around them just fine. But I could see in the heat of the moment, that big buck coming in, you got to shift, you got to move, all of a sudden now you hit your boot on there and you just blew the whole thing. So I think this is a pretty big miss, putting the cables in here. I think inexperienced hunters, or maybe older people that can't really shimmy their feet really well, I think that could be an issue for them. And I just kind of see this as, you're going to spook probably more game than you're going to get with these cables. I really think that's a flawed design, and I'm not really a big fan of it. All right, so really to kind of sum up this review, the bottom line here is it's kind of expensive for what it is. I mean, if you can catch a deal on shields for $300 with free shipping, I say it might be worth it. But if you look at other things in its same kind of class, obviously the Custom Gear Hybrid, I think that's a $550 stand, maybe even $600. So that's kind of at that next step, but you don't have the cables to deal with. It's extremely lightweight compared to 8 pounds. You know, looking at what other tree stands have been used is like a Custom Gear 0.5, that would be a hybrid option. Again, that's a $600 stand, so you're getting up into that, you know, twice the price. You know, the Lone Wolf Patriot Series, the Alpha 3 might be a good option. It's a little bit heavier. You're going to get a lot more platform, but it kind of could do the same thing here. Or you could look into some of those XOP stands. So I do have a Rubicon. I would kind of think maybe a Rubicon would be a better choice than this. A Rubicon's going to be maybe, I think the weight's just a little bit heavier, the price is less, and I think you can get free shipping from XOP usually. Now XOP does have 2 new stands. They have the Fly and the Super Fly that also could be hybrid options. But I'll be honest with you guys, I'm pretty disappointed in this thing for what it is. For the cost of what they want, I don't know. I think it's cool prototype. I don't think that this is worthy to have in their lineup. Now, what's really interesting about Novix is they're on like their third owner now. Supposedly a new guy owns the company. So it'll be interesting to see if they keep this, if they change it, or if they modify the design. I don't know. I really feel like nobody really asked for this, and they kind of just dumped it out there, and I think they were just kind of figured, we'll dump it out there and just see what happens. Obviously, people have bought them. I think I see more for sale than really actually people using them. I know there's been a couple videos reviewing it, but this is not something that I would think I would want to grab for a mobile hunting setup. I would grab my .5, I would grab an XOP Rubicon, or just get a really big platform like a trophy line Mission or something big like that. Excuse me, I have a little bit of a cold right now. You know, if you really want to try this thing out, I think maybe if you can buy one on the Facebook Marketplace and get a deal on it, go for it. I don't know. I just don't. I think maybe for a preset, this would be great. You know, if you want to have some private land or some state land and you want to, you know, lock this thing up as a preset, I would probably rock it that way. So the bottom line is I'm actually not going to keep this stand. I'm going to sell it. I thought about using it as a preset. I thought about putting it on state land, locking it up. At the end of the day, the performance isn't as good as what I'd liked. You know, I could put out something a little bit, I could put out even like a Hawk Ultralight, and I think that would be a better option than this. I mean, it's all right. It's just, I don't know, these cables for me, I think that's going to be an issue for guys. I think, you know, if you're using it as a traditional saddle stand, that's fine. But when you got to make a quick move to shoot a deer, especially these bucks, they come in quick, they come in on weird angles. I just think that that's going to screw a lot of people up. The other thing that concerns me, and this is totally just a concern, is this seat is so long. I feel like over time it's going to put a lot of pressure, because it's basically like the seat's going to be like a lever, and it's going to put so much pressure in here, and really all you have is these welds in this one bolt. So I do have concerns there. It's probably nothing, but I don't know, there's too many negatives for this thing here. I feel like nobody really asked for it, and honestly, if somebody said, like, you know, do you think I should get one? I don't know. I would suggest maybe you try some other options. Not to say that this is a bad stand, but I think it's kind of a miss. You know, Novix Hilo, I think, would be a much better option than something like this. So hopefully you guys don't beat me up too bad in the comments. If you like videos like this, honest opinions, real videos, real reviews, leave me a comment down below, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.